Good day. Welcome to today's presentation on composing text using culturally sensitive and bias-free language. We'll explore in how inclusive communication can promote respect and understanding in diverse environments. My name is Nicolette,
I am Marvick Joy.
And this is Ryan.
and I'm excited to guide you through this important topic. Let's start by defining what we mean by culturally sensitive and bias-free language. Culturally sensitive language respects the differences in cultures, tradition, and values. For example, instead of saying Merry Christmas, you might say Happy Holidays to include people of various beliefs. Bias-free language, on the other hand, ensures inclusivity by avoiding discriminatory or prejudiced terms. A good example is saying firefighter instead of fireman, which avoid gender-specific language.
Why does this matter? Using culturally sensitive and a bias-free language promotes respect for different perspectives and encourages inclusion. It helps ensure that everyone feels valued. Importantly, it prevents unintentional harm by avoiding offense or marginalization. Finally, this kind of mindful communication strengthens relationships, helping to build trust and understanding.
Here are some practical examples. First, for gender inclusive language, instead of saying he or she when a gender is unknown, you can use they. For instance, the student can submit their assignment tomorrow. Next, ability inclusive language focuses on the person and not on their condition. So, we say person with disability instead of disabled person. Lastly, culturally inclusive language avoids implying that one culture is the standard. For example, referring to a global team is more inclusive than saying foreign team.
Now, let's look at a biased text. The elderly man struggled with technology, proving that old people are bad with computers. This statement generalizes that all older people have difficulty with technology, which is a harmful stereotype. It also uses a negative tone when describing aging, implying that older adults are less capable of learning. Such language can discourage older individuals from using technology and reinforce age-based biases.
Let's rewrite a bias statement using inclusive language. The original text says, women are naturally better at taking care of children because they are more nurturing. This sentence assigns caregiving abilities to women based on gender stereotypes. A more inclusive version would be, people of all genders can be nurturing and skilled at caregiving, regardless of gender roles. This revised text avoids limiting people's abilities based on gender and promotes equality in caregiving.
Here are some key principles to follow when writing culturally sensitive and bias-free text. First, avoid stereotypes. Don't make assumptions based on someone's identity. Second, use person-first language, putting the same person for any characteristic. For instance, person with autism rather than autistic person. Be mindful of cultural context by adapting your language to be respectful. And lastly, use gender-neutral terms like spouse instead of husband or wife. These principles ensure that your communication remains inclusive and respectful.
Now, let's put this idea into practice. For this activity, I'll present a short bias text. And I'd like to identify the bias and rewrite it using culturally sensitive and bias-free language. Afterward, we'll discuss some key questions. How does biased language affect communication in daily life? And what strategies can you use to make your communication more inclusive? I encourage you to think about how these changes can make a real difference in your interactions. Thank you for listening. And I hope you feel more confident in applying these principles in your communication.